Okay, I'm gonna go through this really quickly, you guys, because I have things to do and places to go. I have somewhere to be in a bit, so I have to do a really rush on this. But I spent the whole of my Saturday doing my assignment because I needed to finish it by today. So the due date is like what, 11:59 p.m. Sydney Standard Time on Sunday. So I made sure I finished it off on Saturday and allocated the full day, except the afternoons, to reading The Missing Sister, which is this one. So this is the book I've been reading, and it's the seventh book in the Seven Sister series by Lucinda Riley. And okay, let me just give a bit of a lowdown on how the series actually went. So you start from Maya, Ali, Star, Cece, and then you get to Tiggy and Electra. And the first five books were really okay. I think Cece's book was my favorite. Once I got to Electra, I kind of lost interest just a bit. I felt like the book was overdone. I don't think she needed that many pages to be very honest. But the story was still like relevant to Electra's background, so I was like, you know what, that's fine. I'm taking like pauses in between because I need to blow my nose. So Electra's book, kind of a letdown. But then I was gifted The Missing Sister, and I've been meaning to grab it for a while, so really like happy that I got it. And I started reading it, and it's shaky, as in the initial start of it is a little shaky because now like they start off with the story of Mary Kate. So this is supposed to be The Missing Sister Merope. And it starts off with Mary Kate, this girl from New Zealand, and she's going through how her dad passed away, and then the story continues to how she found out, like she knows she's adopted, and then how do I explain this to you guys without losing my mind? Um, a daughter of a New Zealand farmer, of like a husband and wife, and she's got a brother called Jack. The girl is adopted. So the sisters are finally given like a clue saying, your seventh sister, Merope, the missing sister, is somewhere in New Zealand. Go find her. So Cece and her partner Chrissy, they're the closest because they live in Australia. So they hop on a plane. They go off to New Zealand to find this missing sister, and then they meet Mary Kate. Mary Kate's like, look, I don't know the ring that you're looking for, but I've seen it on my mom, but my mom's not here. She's on her way to some place called Norfolk Island, and then they pack their bags, they run off to this place, and then they've called this mom saying, hey, we're looking for this ring. Do you have it? Can we meet you? And they're pretty much just chasing this person around the world. So if Mary, as she likes to be called, runs off to Norfolk Island, you've got Cece and Chrissy attacking her from that side. Then she went to Toronto, and then you've got Electra, who's in New York. She flew to Toronto, and then you've got then she moved to London, and then Star went to London. Oh, she was already in London, and then finally she went to Ireland because that's where the whole story started because of her Irish background. So little by little, we realize, like the readers realize, that Mary Kate is no longer the missing sister. It's actually the mother, Mary. Her name is actually Mary, like Jesus, Mary. But because apparently she giggles a lot, she likes to be called Mary instead. Not once in this book was she actually Mary. Like, not a single ounce of her would have suggested this person had happiness inside of her, because she was always like, oh, I can't deal with this right now. I have a headache. I need to go lie down. I need a whiskey. And I'm like, where was the Mary part in this person? Because I didn't see it when I read it. Anyway, that's a rant for a different time. But now she's in Ireland, but she's reading a diary. Now this diary and this account, like, because the seven sisters, they go between like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like to the hip ancestors and the present, and then the ancestors and the present. You know how like in tennis they do the thing where you watch one side and the other side and this side and that side. That's what it felt like when I was reading this account, because I was like, for one, you don't need to include three different accounts of it, because literally she could have condensed this book. It's 800 pages. Sorry, I think I yelled onto that. It's 800 pages. Do you know how much 800, like there was a history lesson, and I don't mind, okay, I don't mind the history lesson part of it, because the history of Ireland is something important to Lucinda Riley because she's Irish. This story really covers a lot of her hometown, her history, things that she's experienced while she was growing up. And so she's really put in her level best to let the readers know how beautiful her hometown is. But that took 200 pages. So, starting from the 800 pages, if you reduce the history lessons, you cut off 200. I'm telling you, we could have like summed it up to 600 pages of okay content. But because Mary always likes to nap, and her children, who also followed her to Ireland, like to take like surf in the middle of nowhere, they added on like another 20 pages. And then if you count the amount of times, you've got unnecessary character introductions, like who is Peter? Why do we need to meet your first love? I didn't come here for this. I came here to find out whether you are the missing sister, and what your history and what your relation to this other person is. Like, who are you to pass salt? That's all we wanted to know. That took that whole bit where we found out, like, okay, let me go back. So if we count, like, get rid of those things, that's another 100 pages gone. We are now down to 500 pages, which I would have done before Sunday. I could have finished this by Friday had she not done this to me. I'm angry. This is the first time I've been angry reading a book because the ending was so poorly done. I'm mad. The reason I say the ending was so poorly done is because up until the very end, Mary is just like, she's just like, I don't want to do this. She's like, I need to find out about my past. And then she's like, oh, but I don't want to deal with this right now. And then she's like, oh, her son's like, but why don't we go find the place, like where apparently like you've got a relation, or you've got some like history of based on the coordinates. Oh, you know what? I'm not interested in that. I'm sorry. And I'm like, what was the point of this book if all she does is say no? She drank tea most of the time. If she cut out her sandwich and jam, she really could have had more clues. We could have had 200 extra pages with more information on her background or her story. But no, she didn't want that. Anyway, and then, my God, the whole point of this book was to show the relation or show the connection that this woman had with the other six sisters, because the age difference is so big. So you've got Maya, who's the oldest, she's 31 or 32, and Mary, she's like, she's 59. So there's a significant difference between the two. And the reason being is, and we find out in the last 2 pages of the book, we find out it's because she is Atlas's biological daughter. She would have known that a little earlier had she used her brain and then just listened when they said, please come join us for this cruise that we're going to lay this man's ashes. But you know what? I get it. If I didn't know this person, I wouldn't also want to go and spread ashes to someone like I don't know, with a whole bunch of like other people that I don't know. But me as a reader, I don't think I deserve that. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like I didn't deserve the level of words I skipped a few pages. Once they introduced Peter, I was like, I'm done. There's no point in me reading. I don't need to know who Peter is. Peter was her first love. Do I need to know that? No. I want to know how you connect with the story of the missing sister, with the seven sisters. How do you fit in the Pleiades star cluster? That's what I want to know, you know? Did I get the answers? Well, yeah, I did. Like 2 pages, but still. But you know when you read a book and you expect it to have a decent ending where you feel satisfied, and it's not even an appropriate cliffhanger, because a cliffhanger would be interesting and you're like anticipating the next one. I'm not anticipating. I'm just mad that it took 500 pages for it to happen. So that's my review for this week. I'm sorry if I got really angry, but if you go read the reviews for Goodreads for this book, you see what I mean. Because a lot of majority of them, they're okay with the historical fiction part of it, which I was too, because I found something really interesting. And with that, I gave this a 1 star on Goodreads, and I will give a 1 star to it on this as well. But yeah, that's my review for today, and I'm going to start on another book. I did buy a couple of books last week, so I'm going to make another video of that sometime this week before I go for work. Yeah, that's it for now. Bye, guys.